Hi everyone. I feel like I wore the same outfit to film these videos very recently, but it just happened to be the same outfit I put on today. But yeah, we're here to talk a little bit about project pan tips that have served me well in my project panning journey. This is part of my project pan coach series, where I'm pretty much spilling all the beans, spilling all the tips and tricks and little tidbits that I've picked up here and there throughout my nearly a decade journey with project panning. So we're gonna try to make this a little bit quick. I actually have somewhere I need to be pretty soon, so I'm gonna try to just throw it all at you. I have a list in front of me, no particular order, and I'm just gonna talk through a few situations and scenarios, and hopefully you'll pick up a few things that you might already do, that you might want to try. And this is everyone's journey is different. Everyone's you know paths to, I wouldn't say success, but at least some movement and progress is going to look a little different. So I definitely encourage you to try stuff. If it doesn't work for you, totally fine. It's just worth trying and just worth trying to make that progress. So all right, here we go. So first thing that I have on my list is to multitask your products. So definitely, I mean, of course, products are always marketed to be for something. So for instance, I have lip liner here, but as you can see, I use it often as lip liner because it serves me well that way. But the tone of this is like pretty cool toned brown, right? So sometimes I like to think about it as, okay, what's the color? Like just objectively, what's the color? Not so much how they market it to you, but objectively by the color. But this color tells me that yes, it's great maybe on the lips to line it and create that kind of shadow for like the poutier lip. Or if you just enjoy this tone on your lips, that's fine too. I feel like this could be used as a bronzer, and you could definitely sheer that out with a sponge or with other products. You can mix it with maybe primer or whatever. Get the consistency you want. Maybe even contour your nose a little bit if you tried. Some people also use these remember, lip safe does not always mean eye safe, and eye safe doesn't always mean lip safe. So definitely be cautious with that. But I can even see myself using this a little bit as like an eye primer if I really wanted to. But between contour and lips, I feel like I could work through this very quickly if I wanted to. So be creative with it. Another example would be this palette. It's marketed as a face palette. It has a highlighter. It has a pretty dark tone blush in here, has a contour color. It also has kind of a shimmery blush here. So for me, I always say powder is powder is powder is powder. Meaning that there are so many different powder products out there, right? There's powder eyeshadow, there's powder face products. And I feel like they can be interchanged a little bit. Again, eye safe doesn't mean lip safe, and lip safe doesn't mean eye safe. But if you're willing to risk it, I feel like it could work. Like the highlighter, I've popped this on my lids before. I've mixed these two together to create kind of like a highlighting blush. I've mixed these two together to become a bronzer. And these two together probably be a really nice mid-tone shade too. And then you could also mix these with a little bit of like a primer or some sort of cream product to maybe also make a cream product if you so desired. So yeah, be creative. There's so many ways to use different types of products, and I think it just takes like that objective eye to be able to say, okay, what's the color of this objectively and how can it be used, or how can I mix this as well? I think for me, frankening is a really big part of my project pan journey. That's why I call myself the impulsive panner, because I around the time that I changed my channel name to the impulsive panner, I was impulsively just like just frankening things together. I was like, this isn't working for me. This product isn't working for me. But, maybe this cool tone product with this warm tone product would come together to maybe become a better shade for me. So really understanding even a little bit about color theory is really important as well, to understand kind of how products mix together. Of course, the good thing about makeup is you can just take a little bit of this and a little bit of this, mix together and see how it works before committing to either, a small container or a larger batch, depending on like how much you want to put towards that and how much you want to use up. But that's always just super fun to me to kind of be mixing things together and seeing like what comes out. If anything, it becomes some sort of muddy brown, and muddy brown doesn't look that bad on the eyes usually or on the face. So it's something that I can end up using anyways. Like muddy brown, cool tone muddy brown is sometimes good for contour, so I end up usually using it somewhere. But of course, that's why you do kind of like a tester batch to see if it actually works out for you or not. All right, so yeah, I have like so many videos about frankening, and like if you've watched my videos, you've seen so many things I put together from Franken. I've probably Frankened almost every product except for maybe plain old primer, which I probably actually have done before too. I think I made like a sunscreen primer on my own, which, you know, like, I don't know about all the chemicals. I'm not a chemist, but probably not the safest thing to do, but it was a small batch because I was like the tail end of everything. So I think I've made primer, I've made foundation cocktails, I've made concealer cocktails, I've made eye primer cocktails, still using one right now. Of course, Franken eyeshadows. I've done not so much eyeliner. I don't really use eyeliner much. So anyways, that aside, mascara, I've like changed out the packaging before. I've used stuff in my eyebrows before. Lip stuff, I've done maybe not lip liner, but I've definitely done Franken balms, Franken glosses, Franken lipsticks. So yeah, I just experimented with all of it. It's been super, super fun. So definitely would encourage you to do so if that's haven't something you've tried before and I would say like, do it when you're most desperate, right? So you're not just frankening to be like, I want to franken, which you could. But usually I franken when I'm kind of desperate and I'm like, I am so done with using this product as is. I need to, you know, change it up. So instead of like looking for a new product on the market, I just look for a new product in my collection. And that can often look like frankening for me. Yeah, and I wrote a note here to just understand color theory. I think I just mentioned that, but that has kind of like the whole cool tone versus warm tone thing. I think that's often helped me kind of get a tone and a finish that I like. So definitely look it up, or at least be aware that color theory can be a thing. Like I've put green things into red things to make more brownie things. I've put more blue things into you know, orange things and made a tone that worked really well. So you know, just kind of understand how mixing things together can kind of work in your favor. All right, next thing on my list here is minimal hate panning. What I mean by this is not so much no hate panning, which I know some people hate the idea of hate panning, but I would say more like give your products one last chance before you kind of decide what your next steps are, right? It's kind of the pathway to project panning. So it's like if you have a product that you're like, I can't deal with this, I think you kind of need to hone in on what you don't like about it. Is it the finish? Is it the packaging? Is it the color? Is it the texture? And I think once you understand like what you don't like, that's where maybe frankening could come into play, right? Where you could maybe mix a texture that you don't like with something that you like. If it's a scent thing, right? Like maybe you can put that in with something that's like a lotion or something. Like some people mix like fragrances with a body lotion, and it can really kind of dissipate that scent and make it a more enjoyable use. So, and I find oftentimes if I'm creative with the way that I can change that thing that I don't like, then I end up actually liking it just fine. So for instance, like sometimes if there's a powder, like a pressed powder I don't like, then I make it into a loose powder. That is a problem solved for me. Sometimes if it's loose powder, I've actually pressed it back into a pressed powder. It's not always, doesn't always quite work. Like you sometimes need like it would work best if you had like a binder and like an actual press, you know, that some professionals use. But if you don't have that, it can definitely be a wonky experiment. But you know, just know that this is your collection. These are your products. If it loses value, right, in its current form, then to me at least, like what's the risk of just experimenting and playing around with it? Because if you lose it, you lose it. You weren't going to use it up anyways, and if it works for you, great, you've gained that value back. And so I think that's kind of where I'm going with this concept of like minimal hate panning. Like call it out for what it is. You're hate panning something, and then try it, like figure out what's actually wrong, and then kind of, you know, fix it if you are able to. Okay, so when I project pan, I need to keep things in sight. I'm a very much like out of sight, out of mind person. I was struggling with that phrase in my last video, but it is out of sight, out of mind for me. And so I have like a little basket that I keep, and I put all of my project pan items in there. I never put any items that are in my project pans away. I really keep them out and visible. On top of that, I've used several methods to really even further designate that they are in a project pan. First one for me, and the one that I use most consistently, is lists. I write out all of my project pan items in a list. I scribble them out, as you can obviously see. And then if I have like a use goal on them, I just tally them right on the piece of paper. And why there's a piece of tape is because I tape it right onto my mirror where I put on my makeup and stuff like that. So it's right there for me to remind myself, oh, if I'm putting on makeup that day, just kind of like check through before I, or at least when I'm going through my makeup routine, be like, okay, make sure that I touch that, or like whatever, and then be able to mark it off right there. So that's probably been the most efficient way for me to be able to work through products in my project pan. So, but these are more short-term goals, right? These are like monthly, month to month. So lists are really, really good for me month to month, and it has to be attached to the mirror. I don't keep a notebook. I don't keep a spreadsheet. I don't really have anything that is electronic that is part of my project pans right now. I did keep like a beauty bank and stuff like that, but I've phased that out a little bit. But in terms of my projects, that's how I do it. If it was a long haul project, I have actually used nail stickers. This is just a used sheet that I have. But nail stickers are great because they are, they're pretty much waterproof, right? And they stick on. They are somewhat permanent. So, you know, and that's why I say nail stickers, because these look quite pretty. So, you know, if you have nail stickers, choose ones that are aesthetically pleasing to you. And I attach those onto my products. So, you know, and I tried to, actually at some point, I think I had like one type of nail sticker shape for one project and another nail sticker shape for another project. So you can kind of be creative, even colors, right? Nail stickers just come in all sorts of different colors. So that's a really good way. I know some people also put tape. So I had some washi tape on this eyeliner pencil here. And then this washi tape is good because you can just mark right on the tape, kind of if this is eyeliner, so I could mark my levels, even though you can't see my levels anymore. Some people use Sharpie on their liquid products. Some people use, Sharpie is a good one. Oh, nail polish. Some people use nail polish to mark their progress as well. Some people also really love the objective numbers and actually pull out like a scale and actually weigh their products to see the difference between this time, last time, from where it began and stuff like that. Of course, it wouldn't be the exact product that's in there, but it's like the whole package, and you can kind of deduce how much product you've used up based on that. I'm not quite that. I'm much more between visual panner and just doing the tallies and stuff like that. So yeah, that's how I just like to keep my project panning experience more simple and doesn't involve a ton of, you know, tools and things like that. So that one's a good one to kind of keep it in sight, and then like specifically, you know, either write out the ones that you need to be working on or have some kind of visual reminder that those are the things that you need to be working on. Yeah, I think I'm just looking through my list to see what else I want to talk about. All right, actually I just got through a lot of them. All right, next one is some tools for project panning. I know I just said don't use too many tools, but I'm talking specifically about like tools that you can use to maximize the product that's in your collection. So the first one that I love and sing the praises of is some sort of makeup spatula. These are pretty much mini spatulas. They come in all different shapes and sizes at this point. OG one is the Spatty. Yeah. That one, actually, that was like way back when I was, man, that was like 2017, 2018, pre-COVID. And one of my good friends on Instagram was actually sponsored by them at some point, and because she did these awesome like like spatty patty type videos. But yeah, this one's actually a super old one I got from Sephora, maybe like 20, man, I was like a college intern at that point. Man, 2012, 2013, still kicking. I don't think Sephora sells these anymore, but this is a great tool. I love the little bit here that kind of hooks around a lid and stuff like that. For me, I've gotten actual, like, I don't know, tools, but really a cuticle pusher has been awesome for me. So this is kind of like to scrape out pans for frankening and things like that. So that's been awesome. Tweezers are super helpful. Let me show you exactly how I use tweezers on a lip gloss tube, because I know some people, this one's an empty one pretty much. I know some people, when you take out the stopper, you kind of try to pry it out like this, right, where the stopper is, and you kind of jam it in there and just try to pry it out. My method is actually where, I'm sorry, let me try to get out of the screen here. I don't think it's gonna focus. Okay, that's fine. I think you can still get the motion. I actually stick the whole thing inside, and then let me actually back it up to here. I don't know what's best to see, but I basically, okay, there we go. I'll cover my face with this, and then I basically use pressure up against the stopper to like lift it out like that. It's not working for me on camera, and I just basically have the whole thing on the tweezers. So that has been the most effective way to do gloss stopper removals. I don't think too many other products have that. Some concealers and stuff like that have the same stopper mechanism, but just want to throw that out there because I feel like I've heard of a lot of people who have trouble like cutting the stopper out, but that way actually causes minimal damage and is quite effective because you can use like all of your pressure against the wall of the stopper instead of basically cutting it apart and poking it and like stuff like that while you're trying to take it out. So that's my 2 cents for you. All right, so I got the tools down. All right, we're gonna get, I think, into the, oh, not yet. Let me look through my list. Repackaging. That one's a really cool one, similar to frankening, and I quickly mentioned it before, was like, you know, to put loose stuff into press stuff and to become loose. Also just same thing as like hate panning, like understand like what's not working for you. So for instance, like this is a lip balm, right? I hate using things out of squeezy tubes as much as they're more hygienic. I know it's good, but I actually put it out into like a little sample jar, and I've been using it out of there. I enjoy using lip products with a lip brush. Not for everything, but for some things. And this is one of those things. So so I repackaged that, have been working through it a lot more now. Really enjoy that product that way versus like squeezing a little bit of my fingertips and putting it on. It's just not for me. So that's kind of an example of just repackaging, being creative, and like kind of objectively understanding why something isn't working for you. And then another one is, I'm sure you've picked it up at this point. I'm a picky project panner. I don't just work on something for the sake of working on it. I have to make sure like I hone in on why it's not working for me, and I get rid of, you know, I try to eliminate that kind of bothersome part of the project panning experience. And that could also be one reason why I don't repurchase a product. I think that's a big part of project panning, is understanding not so much, oh, like just getting through a product, but it's actually what you're really actually trying to understand is, what am I not buying again? I think that's like just a huge part of life, is like you experience life to like half the time not do something again, or even more than half the time not do something again. So yeah, that's why I definitely do. I don't like glaze over a product or just like dismiss a product because it doesn't work. I really want to get to know why I don't know it, why I don't like it, and then be picky about that pretty much. And I feel like I would be really good at like de-influencing if I had, you know, if I was one of those people who do de-influencing videos, because I would probably pick up a product and be like, are you sure you really need this? Like, you know, I could probably de-influence you about this right now. So let me give it a shot, right? Like this product I picked up I hoped that it would work for me in the tanner months, but it's still too deep for me sometimes. They don't really mix that well together. It takes forever to see progress on this. So I just feel like this is going to be my collection forever. And I don't really need a palette like this in my collection forever. You know, sometimes like the packaging gets dirty and it's hard to kind of clean off. It gets kind of scuffed a little bit too. And you know, I could probably go on and on if I kept on wanting to pick it apart, but that's kind of the vibe that I'm trying to say, is like, you know, you can basically de-influence yourself about your products and kind of really understand what you like and what you don't like about your products. I don't know if I have any product that is holy grail right now. Like there's bits and pieces I like, but not the whole thing. All right. So now we're getting into kind of like the deeper part of project panning and kind of things you need to be thinking about, at least things that I've had to think about to really help me keep moving and keep getting progress on my project pan. One of them is just to know my goal boundaries. You know, I think sometimes I see people have like huge usage goals, right? Like 100 uses, 50 uses. And I'm like, I don't want to count that high. I don't want to put, you know, like 30 on here is already like annoying to me. Like 20 is already like kind of max. So I feel like 20-ish is pretty much my maximum for if I'm doing a usage goal. So kind of just know like where you're at with those things. You know, other would be like just duration of time, right? Is it 6 months? Is it a year? Like I'm having a really hard time with my year-long project pans. I mean, the ones that go month to month are fine, but I had a few projects at the beginning of the year where I was like 2025, I'm going to work through all these, and halfway through the year, I fizzled out. I ended all of those projects pretty much. My beauty bank, my 225 wins in 2025, my 25 in 2025 panning bingo. I'm just calling it, I didn't call quits per se, but I felt like I made enough progress and I proved to myself enough that, yeah, I made a good effort in 6 months. And I think 6 months for me is kind of the maximum point. I feel like if it was maybe like 4 months or something would probably be the sweet spot for me, to be honest. So those are the types of things I've gotten to know about myself, and it really just takes trying to figure out like what works for you. Like you never have failed a project pan. I just want to put that out there. I feel like a lot of us are really hard on ourselves. It's like, oh, we didn't make it to the year. Oh, we didn't make it to this, or I missed an update or whatever. And no, I think it's like if you made progress on your products, and if you even put any intentional thought about like, yes, I'm gonna like work on this, I think that's a win. Like you've thought about the product versus, I feel like former Jamie would have been just dismissed a product if I didn't like it and just tried to go out in the market to find a different one. And now the fact that I'm actually thinking about products and revisiting products and really trying to use things up, like that's a huge win, right? So definitely celebrate those successes. I'm going to talk about that point actually in a little bit. I think this also takes time too, is just like understanding your preferences. So I go through seasons, like it's a ebb and flow in terms of my preferences. Like what exactly do I tend to use up faster? What exactly do I like with consistent use, do I really see some progress on? And so things like loose powder, I actually see progress on quite quickly. Lip glosses, I've seen progress on quite quickly. I'm actually really not using either one of those consistently now, but I've documented that for myself, that I've been able to make good progress on those products. And I think whenever I feel a little bit discouraged maybe in my project pan journey, I can actually fall back on those kind of success stories for myself, and kind of pick those up and pick those products specifically for project pan, so that I am not just working on hard products all the time. And I think sometimes that also even determines like what I might purchase or something like that in the future too, but that's not about project pan. So anyways, moving on. I think a big one, a huge one, is surround yourself with the voices that you want to hear, the community that you want to be a part of. So I think that's why I love the project panning community. It is here on YouTube, it is on Instagram, it is on TikTok, it is on Reddit. I mean, it's hard to come by in real life, but I think of it as just like, if you want to be making these goals, you should be consuming media and content that encourages you in that direction. So I would really, really encourage you to unsubscribe, or consider unsubscribing from any content creators that are not encouraging that. I think there's some people who kind of are in a sweet middle spot where they are both, they both do, they show products, but they also are very aware of their consumeristic tendencies, and maybe are a little bit more like steady on the way that they explain products and stuff like that. So it's not in like a really pushy way, because I feel like sometimes there's just some influencers out there that just like sing the praises of everything they touch, and that can really be misleading in a lot of ways. So that was a huge part for me, was as much as I loved certain personalities in the social media space, I had to at least really stop watching them or be careful about what I watched from them. So maybe not like a review on something, right? I think for me, review videos are quite triggering, but maybe I'll watch them for a look they create or something like that and take inspiration from that, but not a review video, because it's pretty easy for me to be tipped. Or like if they say like top 10 products from XYZ, I feel like sometimes I'm like, I want those top 10 products. I want top 10 in my collection. But my collection doesn't have space for that. So I think, if for me, I've subscribed to project panning content creators, as well as the way I search YouTube as well, is not just like, oh, like what's up, but I actually specifically search project pan and kind of watch what comes up from there. So that has been a big part of just keeping me motivated on my project panning journey. And if you're able to even further interact and be a part of that and engage in that way, like that's super awesome. Reddit for me was a really big one. I talked about it in my last video, subreddit specifically makeup rehab, because for me, my project panning journey really started as kind of like, I need help. And the makeup rehab community is a great group of people who, just call it out for what it is, that sometimes makeup spending and thinking about beauty products, is a bit of an addiction, and it doesn't need to be that way. And so how to get back into a healthier space and relationship with those things. So yeah, I think just surround yourself with the right community. Then the last thing was celebrate all the successes. Every little bit of progress, every little bit of movement, every empty that you create, every all the numbers that lower, and just excess is removed from your collection. Just celebrate all that. It can even be a declutter. It doesn't have to be even something you finish, but just the fact that you literally are owning your collection for what it is, and that you see it for what it is and what you want to become, and that you're working yourself that way. Like, that's huge progress, and you should be so proud of yourself. So so thank you so much for watching this video. I do have to run to my next thing now, so I will catch you in my next video. Thank you so much for being part of the project panning community. I hope that you got something from this. Please comment down below if there was anything that was new to you. Probably not, but at least if there's anything that made you think a little bit, or something you want to try, or something that has been a really good tip for yourself, please, I would love to have you add yours below. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.